Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Ausra.
Let's start episode 82 of Ask Vidas and Ausra podcast. Today's question was sent by Peter and he writes, Dear Vidas and Ausra, I recently learned a new and ugly concept, convenience rubato, meaning slowing down when it gets difficult. It hit me by my heart because it is what I do during rehearsal. But how I avoid it during a performance. That means a service, especially during pre or postludio, since the hymns normally stick to the tempo. Thanks to your continuing work, teaching and inspiring me. Regards, Peter. Remember, we also had a similar experience when playing piano, when one of our former professors said, when it gets difficult, just expand the tempo and slow down.
Yes, I remember that. It was funny.
Of course, he didn't mean to do this. We should do this all the time, but he tried to make us feel better about difficult spots, basically.
Sure.
Yeah. Did you, when, for example, with working, remember with our organ studio Undamaris people, did you ever hear somebody slow down when it gets difficult?
Oh, definitely. There are some students that change tempo in like two opening lines. We change tempo a few times.
Uh-huh. Or speed up when it gets easier.
Yes. And especially that obvious in the fugues, because one subject comes alone, it's easy to play it, so you can take fast tempo, and then with each subsequent subject you just slow down a little bit. And finally, maybe after a few lines you establish the right tempo. It just means, that you have to pick up your opening tempo according to the hardest spot of the piece. From the beginning.
The most dense texture. Just look at your piece of music that you're currently playing and find the spot which has the most difficult rhythmic values, maybe syncopations, maybe 4 or 5 parts, and then try to play all the parts together. If you cannot really play at the concert tempo without mistakes, all parts together at that spot, slow down until you can. And that's your current practice tempo, basically.
And I think, what creates this problem that you cannot keep the steady tempo in the hard spots, you just slow down. That actually, we are, it's very hard for us to push ourselves, for example, while practicing, to start to work on those hard spots first, and then only after practicing those hard spots to play everything through right from the beginning. Because, that's what kids do at school. We always begin to practice from the beginning to the end. And in that case, you will never be comfortable with those really hard spots. Because we need your additional attention, extra practice.
Or kids do even other things, like playing pieces which are easy and
That's
not
true.
practicing pieces which
That's
are difficult at all for some time until it is too late.
Because always, if you don't keep a steady tempo, it means that you either have some technical difficulties in some spots, or you are not listening to what you are playing. But I think in this case, this is the first version. You still have trouble playing some difficult spots.
Would recording yourself help?
Yes, that would help definitely.
Because you then would find out how your tempo will fluctuate or not.
Yes.
In which places. It's a pure math, I think. As Ausra mentioned, for example, fugues. And fugues have sometimes like 4 voices, but not at the beginning. So at the beginning you have just one voice, single line. Then a second voice enters, you have 2 voices, then 3 voices, and then 4 voice texture. That's the hardest part, perhaps. And there are several of them during the entire piece. So what happens, at the second entrance of the fugue, you have 2 voices, but you have not 2 problems here, but 3, because you have to solve the first voice separately, second voice separately, and both voices together. That's 3 problems. When you have 3 voices, you have 7 problems, right? Because each voice is separate, and then 2 voice combinations are 3, and plus additional 3-part texture, all parts together. And when you have 4 parts, you have 15 problems to solve. That's why it is 15 times harder to play the middle of the fugue than the beginning of the fugue, right, Ausra?
Yes, that's true.
So I hope, guys, you can practice more of those combinations in difficult spots. Ausra, are there any other exercises that people could do which would help them stick to the tempo, or just mastering the challenging parts would help?
You could do exercises, but I think it's a good thing to master those hard spots in one concrete piece of music for keeping steady tempo.
Because like Peter writes about hymns, it doesn't happen with hymns, right? He sticks to the tempo in hymns normally, but preludes and postludes give him more trouble. So normal organ music would be a good place to look at and practice difficult spots considerably more times than the easy spots.
Definitely.
Okay, guys, please send us more of your questions. We really enjoy helping you grow. And this was Vidas.
And Ausra.
And remember, when you practice,
Miracles happen.